Hey Les, welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you so much for stopping in. For all do who stop in, we have a lot to cover today because we are going to be covering the testimony that you have seen all morning. I'm sure you've heard the transcripts and the updates and everyone talking. We'll go a little bit into that. We are going to be talking about Diddy's alleged mule, Brendan, is in his testimony and all of the petty that I caught in the testimony. We are going to be talking about that. Shedeur Sanders was, admittedly speeding, and we are going to talk about how that pullover went and everything that I think I saw at that pullover and things that I want to point out. Also, you saw Michael Irvin talking this weekend. Deion Sanders prime time. We need you to get better. We're going to talk about the update of prime time and when he's him being out sick and all the things that are going on in his recovery. We are also going to cover Fat Joe. What all could you guys do on Juneteenth? You tried to do a lot and to interrupt my time off, but I took it off anyway, as you can see. All right, and we're going to talk about the Fat Joe lawsuits, so make sure you tap on in. And America's getting $1,000. Americans are going to be getting $1,000. I am about to break that on down for you as well. So make sure you stay tuned, tap into all the things that I am going to cover today. No particular order. You'll just see as I cover it. What I would love for you to do, if you will share the live, please share the live, share the live. And if you will tap the screen, thank you for all those who do. Joyce, American, Jen, Ready, Rel, I'm sorry, Healing, Michael, Kelly, whoever is tapping in and staying in and tuning in, please know that I appreciate you. I appreciate all those who choose to pop in and stay in. Really epic stuff when you do that. Evelyn, thank you so much. BB, if for those that I did not mention, okay? All right, so let's get on back to it. We are going to try to meet the timeline today, cover some of the things that we are supposed to be doing in Community Fest and all the other challenges that are going on. I'm going to do my best as, at the same time. What I like to do is I'd like to multitask. I like to record the podcast as well as get the talk in and all those other things, kind of get it all in because TikTok is like a full time job. In addition to all the other things that you do, you have to work, you have to come TikTok and work again, then you have to YouTube and go work again. It's like we have 13 jobs. We definitely have 13 jobs. Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about all of those things in just a few. That's a good update. Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate that. But let's get on into my notes for today because we have a lot to cover. We have a lot to cover. We need to go ahead and get those persons invited also. You know what? What they're going to have to do is at TikTok because I forgot to give them a link to tune in. But Insta. If you don't know by now how to tune in and how to find me on TikTok, I kind of feel like you just don't like me. How you just get to the point where you just don't like me and just say that. You could just say that, because it's so much easier for me to just realize when people just don't like you, they don't like you. Okay. All right. So that's just me multitasking and talking to the screen at the same time while I need to be talking to you guys. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming in and being a part of the conversation. It's so much to cover today. What did you guys do for Juneteenth? I would love to hear about it from your watermelon to your Kool-Aid. Exactly how much fun did you have yesterday? I want to hear about your Juneteenth, and Juneteenth just continues on in Texas. So in Texas, we do a BIG. There are Juneteenth events going on all the way through Sunday. So shout out to all those who are volunteering and hosting and putting all those things together and making them great. We are in the Diddy trial, day 27. So a lot to cover as far as some things that I pointed out during testimony. Again, this is not a transcript read by read, line by line live. So if you need that transcript read by read, line by live, line by script read by read, line by line live. So if you need that transcript read by read, line by live, line by line kind of monotone read, this is probably not the live for you. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get into what I wanted to talk about first. I don't know all the details. So I don't even know why I decided to come here and talk to you about it. I don't know all the details. All I know is that it seemed like Fat Joe over the last, I don't know, decade or so has definitely upset a lot of people. And Fat Joe has a lot of, negative interviews. People have interviews where there are a lot of negative things that they have to say about Fat Joe. And now it just got real fat, 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 fat in them streets for Fat Joe. Okay. Can we even call him that? That is a name algorithm. That is a person's, that is the artist. That is an F Joe. I can't even say that because that doesn't sound good, right? Okay. But algorithm, we're talking about a hip hop artist named Fat Joe. Just before you get all, beclipsing in your feelings and try to lower my life. Okay. Because we know how this algorithm can do on here. Listen, there's some kind of suit going on, essay claims, all that going on with Fat Joe. So if you don't have the full update as to what's going on with F Joe, you need to go and just go check that out because I'm not really no Fat Joe fan. So I'm not really going to be talking about F Joe in here, but I did want to make sure that I at least, if anybody is a fan and you know about that particular lawsuit, then feel free to chime in the comments and then we'll update the people tuning in. I did my due diligence on that, but I want to talk about Shedeur. Shedeur Sanders. Now, this is where I am a fan. Prime time, all the time, every day. So, all things prime time and his legacy, that is the brilliant children that he has put out into the sports force. Okay. So, listen, it happens. It happens. Shedeur Sanders was, cruising in them Ohio force. Okay. So, listen, it happens. It happens. Shedeur Sanders was, cruising in them Ohio streets, right? So he's cruising in Cleveland, and it looks like he has someone else with him in another vehicle. They ended up clocking Shedeur going really, really fast. I'm not sure what the speed limit is. I think I heard someone say going at least 60 over the speed limit. So, he's not the first, nor is he the last. Will Smith tells you he is going to be, when you see Will Smith driving in LA, he is speeding all the time. He has enough money to pay the speeding tickets. So he just take the ticket because Will Smith is not about to slow down just because you think that he should. He's very good at what he does. He drives really fast. That's his thing. We've seen him drive fast all the time. So Shedeur Sanders, if driving fast is his thing, he want to take the Ram and go 100 and pay the ticket. That's just money for you guys to make in Cleveland. Okay. Lots of pullovers possibly. Just do so safely, Shedeur. We can't really talk. In Austin, Texas, the speed limit is what, 80? So you guys go 150 a day. Y'all go fast. So yeah, I know nobody in Austin, Texas is talking about Shedeur Sanders doing 101. That was actually slow to the average driver in Austin, Texas. Okay. So, but listen, Shedeur Sanders was doing what seems to be really fast, and he was doing 101, 60 over. He gets pulled over, and he is prime time child. He showed that at the pullover. He's respectful. They ask him the questions, they ask for their license and registration and all their routine and things that they have to, ask in those kind of situations. And he was just the child of, Deion Sanders. What can I say? He was definitely Deion Sanders, a child in that moment, right? You can get no Pilar at that. There was no Pilar coming out in that pullover. Those are jokes. Okay, so it was definitely all the upbringing of Prime with that pullover. Okay, and definitely Mom Prime. All that showed in his upbringing with that pullover. Had to take the ticket. It was at 101. The other person that was driving alongside with, I guess, the officer said that she was only at 92. So she, the person that Shedeur Sanders was with was only at 92. So no ticket, but Shedeur Sanders had to take the ticket, take it, and he will pay it off. He also, has to update his, thank you so much for your daily heart me, I appreciate that. He also has to update his license because his license is Mississippi, so you're here to stay. You are there to stay in Cleveland. Okay, this is going to be, we already know Shedeur Sanders is going to start. We need all Shedeur news because we all know Shedeur is going to start with those Cleveland Browns. Okay, so listen, that happened. It is what it is. Continue on. He still also had numbers that are epic for camp. I don't know if you see the stats on how he's doing in camp, but he's doing a phenomenal job. He showed up 4 weeks early prior to camp. So Shedeur's having a year. This is just a let me go. I can't not do it. I'm sorry. Okay. This is just a perfect timing. I can't do. Go ahead. I can't do a lyrics breakdown if I don't. I can't. I wouldn't be me, right? I can't play the song though. But I wouldn't just say, so they told me, but my AP, perfect time, and got the baguettes on my neck. I stay shining. It's just Shedeur Sanders, Shedeur being Shedeur. But slow down just a little bit, Shedeur, so you don't upset them. I don't want you to get like 2 or 3 tickets and you can't keep up with it. So slow down just a little bit. Just get a little closer to the speed limit. I know that Texas vibe. Texas don't do the speed limit. They just keep the full coverage insurance and then they pay the tickets. That's just did y'all not know that about Texas? Texas is going to drive how Texas is going to drive, right? But sometimes we end up in those other states on those road trips, and we do have to follow the guidelines. But pretty much, you're not really going to be getting those speeding tickets. Very few times will you get speeding tickets in Texas, okay? Because everybody's just used to being able to go really, really fast, right? So he probably felt like he was going to normal speed, really. But he had to slow it down just a little bit in Cleveland so you don't have any upsets prior to opening season games and preseason games. Okay, Shedeur. And now, just speaking of Shedeur, not going to bring it down too low, but we are going to make sure that we show full respect for the father of Shedeur Sanders. Prime time, as you saw with Michael Irvin's update, prime time is not doing well. So he is back here in Texas. He is not in Colorado as the last update that I had. It may have changed since before Juneteenth, because I try to stay non-digital on Juneteenth for the most part. But Prime is not doing well, so he's taking some major time off. He said that this is just kind of like a part of what happens when you don't feel well. You just have to know your body's calling for you to take some rest. So he definitely is taking some rest, and he is doing it at the Epic Ranch. I have seen the ranch go from flat to up to. Have you seen the updates? I keep up with the house and everything, and how just the upgrades and how everything they're doing to the land with all those acres that Primetime most recently purchased. I keep up with that through Deion Sanders Jr., through the baby, with his media that he has up, and he gives us a lot of footage of just like the Michael Irvin was talking crap about the swimming pool. Michael Irvin said if he had a pool out there, he said in the video, if he was out there when he went to visit Deion Sanders this weekend, he said, if I was out here, you're gonna find me in my birthday suit swimming out here, because it's so much land. You can't see any other neighbors for miles and miles. So that's a good place for Primetime to recover. So he's recovering. He's not doing well. We know his health has kind of had a lot of hits over the past 5 years or so, but that's okay. This is just a good season for him. The podcast is doing well. He has the Netflix special starting up in January. Also, that other special coming up that's going to have Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman and Deion Sanders, I think, and Terrell Owens. So that special's coming out. So it's just like so much. He's probably just been overworking in addition to his Colorado schedule, right? So all prayers to Deion Sanders. Get some rest, babe. We got to keep Prime around longer. We expect you to be around a lot longer. So thank you for answering to your body calling for you. Perfect timing for you to just take some rest. Okay. All right. Also, I wanted to just say, did anybody in the chat have anything that you want to add? If I missed your comment, will pin your comment. That way I can try to make sure I catch it. So if you see a comment that I didn't catch, please do pin it. And if I didn't catch it and you saw that I didn't see your comment, repeat it for me, please, if you don't mind. All right, so let's get on into the Diddy trial. We're probably going to be here for a minute. No, America wants some money. America wants some money. So if Americans want money, what you have to do is that you have to be grateful for those who are going to get some money, right? So when you show and you give thanks for others getting money, that's how you'll get money, or however the universe told me to sell that out to you. So here's what you have to do. Americans are going to get $1,000, but babe, this is how this is going to work, because some of y'all about to feel real mad real soon as I give you the full details. But it's okay, because not everybody's going to get it. But those who are going to get it, it's just in the words of Shedeur, it's perfect timing. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it is excellent if you are going to bring America is getting wealthy news. And if you are going to continue to stay consistent with the America is getting wealthy, well, then you would have to make moves like this. So this is, to stay consistent with the America is getting wealthy. well, then you would have to make moves like this. So this is, this is a bipartisan share. This has nothing to do with the left or the right for me. I don't have any particular opinion. I'm just going to, this is a bipartisan share. This has nothing to do with the left or the right for me. I don't have any particular opinion. I'm just going to share it and you guys go in on what you think of it, right? So American babies, once this is complete, Ted Cruz is putting it together what is now being something that is going to give American children, the American babies are going to get $1,000 each. Have you heard about this? They are going to be getting $1,000 each, and this is going to definitely come from the Preezy from the United States' big beautiful bill. All right, so let me break this $1,000 down to you, and let me tell you where it came from. Okay, Texas Senator Ted Cruz first introduced the legislation as the Invest America Act. Okay, and it's called the Trump accounts now. So it's no longer being called the Invest America. It is now officially being, officially being called the Trump accounts. Okay. This $1,000 to every child is going to cost America $3 billion. Now, with America in debt, I'm not really sure how we're going to go about and do this, but let me see my assistant Harmony. Okay, girl. Okay, that's good. That's how when you are doing a podcast and you have your assistant, aka one of your grandchildren with you, that's how you make that work. Okay. All right, babe. Thanks. Okay, let me get back to it. Thank you for texting me that. That's some tea, girl. You're a trip. Okay, so listen. So this is for the babies of the future, right? She's my little audience, right? Okay, so listen. Senator Ted Cruz first introduced the legislation as the Invest America Act. Now it's called Trump accounts, but it's going to cost the nation, like I said, $3 billion. The nation that's in debt is going to have to pay $3 billion to make this happen. Okay, the Trump accounts initiative, spearheaded by Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, is a new investment program for children. It's part of the GOP's One Big Beautiful Bill, and it has passed the House. Okay, that bill passed the House. The plan, you see you should update it on where that's headed and what's the delays and all that kind of thing, right? So the plan would create $1,000 investment accounts for every child born in the United States between 2025 and 2028. So didn't I tell you? I said some of y'all gonna want that money right now, and I need you to pull back. I did not tell you I needed you to pull back. So you may not be able to pocket all them dollars, but you can have some cheering. You can have some cheering and make sure that you have that responsibly with a plan. A failure to plan is a plan to fail. Is that how that goes? A failure to plan is a plan to fail. So make sure if you decide. Sorry, you guys, I'm reconnecting up here. Sorry for those delays. Okay, so the Trump Accounts Initiative, spearheaded by Senator Ted Cruz, like I said, it's an investment program for the children. So it's a part of that big, beautiful bill. So children, once this goes into full effect and you guys approve that bill and get all going, children born from 2025, almost immediately, the children that are born from 2020, children born from 2025, almost immediately, the children that are born from 2025 to 2028, they're going to get $1,000, and there will be potential additional contributions, but we'll talk about that, right? So here's how I broke down the details of this. They will get assuming. So here's how I broke down the details of this. They will get, assumingly, if the market moves and just, if the market stays at the 7% market growth, no contributions at all, that would have those children at $3,500 in that account, right? Or yeah, and so they would have about $3,500 in that account, right? But if contributing to and market moves and all kind of wealthy things happen for the nation, as predicted will be happening over the next 9 to 10 years or so, with the rebuild and the regrowth and all those kind of things that are going on out there, the max contributions could equal up to $170,000. So the parents that really plan not to fail and do their due diligence. And I can't talk finances on here, so you need to go seek a financial advisor and just have that financial advisor give you a full update on what that Trump accounts mean for the future of you guys having children and children that you have between 2025 and 2028, and how your child, once born, will get that $1,000 on day of birth, and how that will move on. So if you have 5 children in that time frame, or can you really? Yeah, well, I guess if you have some twins, and and you're gonna need some sins. But yeah, if you do all that, you probably could have enough children, right? So that's a good investment thing. That's really helpful for parents, for those of us, in Gen Xers who like, what the F, what the L, but that's wow, right? That's wow. So yeah, that's a good thing for a lot of people. So uh, you know, people may be against that or for that, or think, how can America pay for that? And billions of dollars. I don't know what you guys think. By the time they are 18, it would be, well, actually, is it says by the time they're 18? I thought it was going to just be three. Oh, by the time they're 18, it would be $3,500 at a 7% market growth. I'm sorry, how did I say that? Thank you, my. Can I pin that comment? Thank you, my, because I think I told y'all some bad math. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so the honey came with the actual details. So I don't have to think. I have a man, and my man. Thank you for my man. Okay, so I pinned the comment so that you guys can have the actual math on that, because what I said before, I hope you didn't catch it, because that was not the math. Yeah, so the 7% market growth. Yes, that would be about the number with no additional contributions, and if additional contributions are added to, it will have to be capped at a max of 170K. That's some good stuff, right? So here's the deal of how that money works for your child. Well, when can your child tap into that money? Or when can you maybe tap into that money if you decide that you need it? There are going to be restrictions, okay? So at 18, restricted access and spending will be allowed. So you will have to be kind of needing a car for your child, needing to pay for college for your child. Your child would have to have an initial need for that money and would be able to access that money at age 18. At age 25, though, the child will have total access, but there will continue to be restricted spending for that child. So they'll be able to access the money, but they need to be making sure that maybe they're purchasing it for. Guess what? At age 31, it's an unrestricted access your child will be able to do. So if they don't touch it at all and they are really brilliant, you don't want to keep that money on their mind, like, oh, as soon as you turn 18, do what you want with the money. No, you don't want to do that. Plus, they're going to have restrictions on how they'll be able to spend that money. So what you do want to do probably is to really teach them everything that I can't tell you. I wish I could, but the algorithm won't let me. Seek financial advice on that. And again, that's called the Trump account money, $1,000 per child, 2025 to 2028, once that big, beautiful bill goes into play. All right, one more update then to the Diddy trial. Irish Gardens is now complete. Have you guys heard about that? Austin, Texas news, actually. So maybe other cities will hear about this, and you're a builder. If you're like Atlanta, you see Ti doing affordable housing and doing a good cause with affordable housing kind of move that he did. Well, this is a little similar, but a lot different. Irish Gardens is an affordable housing unit, and it's coming up and falling in place really well in Austin, Texas. Matter of fact, it's not even. They broke ground. They broke ground. What we looked at was the model, right? So they broke ground for this, and it comes back. It's not even. They broke ground. They broke ground. What we looked at was the model, right? So they broke ground for this, and it comes with a twist. Okay, this affordable housing is for seniors who are in the LG. Broke ground for this, and it comes with a twist. Okay, this affordable housing is for seniors who are in the LGBTQ only. So Austin, Texas is building affordable housing unit. Let me know. If you can still hear me, let me know. All right, let's go ahead and tap into the Diddy trial. Let me know. If you can still hear me, let me know. All right, let's go ahead and tap into the Diddy trial. My assistant, yeah, my assistant, I guess you could get me a snack. I don't really need it, but that definitely keeps my assistant busy, my 11-year-old. So, this parts of this update is just going to be really difficult for me because I answered a last minute call because I have, you can't come on camera, babe. Sorry. So, I have a teen that, she's a senior this year. Senior, it's the summer before her senior year. And she's like, Nana, I don't really want to sit at home with my little sister. So, can you have her over there for the day so I can go hang out and do teenager summer stuff? Right. So I'm like, okay. And they woke me up at like midnight to ask that. Right. So I'm like, fine, bring the, 11-year-old is over here until her mother gets off work. The mother, that is my child. Until she's off work. Okay. So anyway, back to it. Y'all didn't want to know that. That's not even what you show up for. Okay. So let's get back to it. So day 27 of the Diddy trial, right? So the prosecution is doing, here's the thing. Does anybody know which prosecution is presenting today? Because I did the kind of updates that I have going on. I don't have that yet, even though I'm going to take you guys into some transcript. But I saw some highlights of where I wanted to highlight and talk about. And oh, it looks like that other juror is back also. The vertigo thing, I guess it was short lived. And so they have that other juror back also, right? So get me the prosecution that's direct examining today, if you know which one of the team of five is direct examining, because I actually did not get that information today. I usually try to get that, but again, you can see my morning has been morning and doing its morning thing. So let's get on to it. Just some of the things that I wanted to highlight and talk about in Brendan Paul's testimony today. And I have a funny reference that I'm going to share with you. Let me share a couple of updates about this testimony and pull from his testimony a little bit. And then I'm going to tell you who Brendan's given for me. It was funny. Honey, don't say it in the chat. I don't even want them to know yet. But literally, I have something about that. Okay. So prosecution prosecution asked Brendan, where did KK stay, right? So Brendan Paul is like, oh, she stayed in LA. Okay, so KK is all in this testimony today, and that's the main thing. We've been talking about KK since week 1, and so I really felt a lot of loaded KK questions being thrown in to the interrogation of the alleged, rug person for this camp of the Diddy administration. Let's just say that the Diddy administration, because until you prove beyond reasonable doubt that these were for actual Sean P. Diddy Combs, we don't really have that. So until you prove that beyond reasonable doubt, we're just making assumptions. But we can say these people are testifying that these are things that they did on behalf of hanging out in the Diddy administration camp, right? Okay, so Brenda says KK stayed in LA, and he says in an apartment 4 minutes down from the 200 South Mapleton. We've heard that address quite a bit during testimony. And no, I can't eat that, baby. Thank you. Put that up. I can't do like a jello thing. Thank you. Nothing really. Nothing. Thanks. So an apartment, it's okay. KK stayed in an apartment 4 minutes from 200 South Mapleton. Now that's in Miami at Two Star. No, I'm sorry. That's 200 South Mapleton. And then KK also stayed in Miami in Two Star Island. So then the prosecution asked, well, did you accompany Mr. Combs to any paid club appearances? So I don't know if that just kind of leads to some of the things that were talked about with Cassie and Jane and Mia, but to see where they're going with that, right? So the prosecution's like, did you accompany, Diddy to those paid club appearances? And then Paul then says yes, that he did. And he also then says that, Diddy would ask for $150,000. And then he says they would have to sell things for him, right? So we kind of see this part, this testimony kind of leading in that direction, right? Of where they're going with Rico, right? So then the prosecution says, well, how did you come to work for Mr. Combs? And that was a question that I had. So I appreciate you asking that, because I was trying to get all into the tea, because I'm looking at this person like, how did this even come about, right? Like, why are you even on the camp? So he says, well, Paul says through Revolt, Revolt Films TV, he has a whole staff and everything that with that film, right? He says through Revolt, Eli Maroon, and he says he told me to get in. He says this is advice that he got from Eli when he first came. He says you need to get in to get out. I don't think I would tell an employee that I don't think I would potential because when you are trying to interview someone, stop assuming that just because your person is Sean P. Diddy Combs or whoever high profile that their person is just going to take the job. No, don't make no assumptions that they're going to take it and be their serious. People have a choice. This is a free real will land that we live in. Okay, so people can. I don't like what you had to say. I think I would have walked away from the interview because I keep myself having choices. I am never going to be stuck in the place where I have to continue to keep a job or to go that direction, even though it's going to be horrible and go against my morals and everything that I stand for. I am not about to do that for the sake of that job, right? But he says that Eli told him, when someone tells you who they are, when you go on a job interview, young people, when someone tells you who they are, believe them. Consult with the elders if you are unsure. Okay. So he says, Eli said, you get in to get out. If you have a girlfriend, he says, break up with her because you are going to never see her. Over here, baby girl. So you're going to never see her, right? And then the prosecution then asks, that is, so as soon as somebody tells it. So if I have a man and my man, thank you for my man. So if I take a job and I'm never going to see my man again, I need to weigh these things out because I'm like, I might as well break up with my man because if I decide to keep this job, they're already telling me that this is just detrimental to your relationship, right? So when someone tells you something like that, come on, Brendan Paul, what were you thinking? But you continue forward anyway, because I have a name for you. I'm gonna give you guys a name I created for. Not really. I'm going to give you a excellent reference. If you can guess the movie that I am about to reference when it comes to the relationship of Sean P. Diddy Combs and Brendan Paul, if you can guess the connection and hangout people kind of movie that I'm talking about, go ahead and put it in the chat. Go ahead and put it in the chat, okay? So then so that I kind of felt like that part was like, why would you then continue to go work for him then? Who does that, right? So the prosecution then asked him a question like, I can't see your text right now, baby girl. Okay, so but I will get to it in just a moment. I promise. I got that stored over in get to spoiled granddaughter part. All right, okay. So anyway, so prosecution said, that's debatable, but we'll have a mock trial about that later. So anyway, prosecution said, "Well, how did you come to work for Mr. Combs?" Okay, yeah. So we talked about that. So then prosecution asked, "Well, did you interview?" Right. So then Brendan Paul says, "Well, yeah, late October 2022 says that he had the interview at 200 South Mapleton Drive." So the prosecution went on to ask, "Well, how were you, greeted when you were there?" So then he gives all this. Boy, who told you to tell how things go when you arrive at Sean P. Diddy Combs camp? Like, you're never gonna get a job again, Brendan. You might as well go back to play for Syracuse. Are you too old? You might as well go and just go on and get yourself. I see how you dress it for court. Go and take that look and go get yourself a corporate job, okay? Because it's never gonna, hip hop is never gonna allow you in again. You're talking too much. So, anyways, he says, well, my ID was scanned and I had to sign an NDA. And then he says, Frankie Santella and KK were there, at this first kind of entry in. And the prosecution said, well, did they hire you? And then Paul says, yes, I would pack a lot of, how do I say this? How do I say this? He said, I would pack a lot of J's in the garage. Okay. So here's Assistant Harmony. I want you to go in and into the front area and go this way and put the top on there also. Sorry, give me a break here for a second, you guys. And turn on Disney. Turn on Disney, turn it up to the volume, put it on loud, okay? Here, let me hold it for you. All right. And then go ahead and go and turn on Disney for me. But, because sometimes you know how this world go. And I can't. I'm the type of grandma, I can't talk about everything in front of my grandchildren. But y'all grandparent, not y'all grandparent. All right. So go ahead and go to the front room and then also close this door all the way. Great. And then Disney. Okay. Got it. Thanks. Appreciate you. You're pretty epic. All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. All right. Sorry. All right, you guys. That's a holiday around. That's a holiday for you. Okay. That's a holiday for you. All right. But her mother will pick her up in a time frame that didn't work for me. So I had to continue on. The show must go. Okay. So anyway, so he talks about how he scanned his ID, had to sign the NDA, and then that KK was there. That KK says, "Yes, I did. Hire me." And so he says that he would pack. Let me say this the right way. let me try to do it without. He said he would pack J's for him. He's not the only one that does that, right? Because we virally know about all the different, stories and times that we've heard Snoop Dogg talk about his person, that's all the person do. She'd sit there all day long, and she does it for a lot of money. Right? So sometimes they do get to a certain level and they pay somebody to just do that. Can you imagine being so rich? Those of you that are in partake in that lifestyle, can you imagine being so rich that somebody just do that for you all day long and make sure that you have endless amounts of can you imagine that kind of money? All right. So then the prosecution went on to have a conversation about, okay, well, when did you meet Mr. Combs, right? So Brendan Paul says, KK came to the garage and she told me to come to a listening party in the backyard and for me to just take notes like I need y'all to do. I need y'all to make sure you take notes. You never know what I'm going to say that you may want to write down. Okay, so the prosecution said, well, what was KK's role? And again, here we go with the United States versus Christina Quorum, possibly. Is it them trying to get all that they can get, like during Jeffrey Epstein, when they were just asking all these Ghislaine Maxwell questions because it didn't take very long after when she went into hiding and thought that she was Gucci and she was not because they pulled her up and said, "Come here, girl, you're in court next." I kind of think that's how this thing. I see KK coming into her own charges, grand jury indictment, going to court in 2026, same courtroom. That's what I see. Prediction. I really think that's going to happen for her. She's coming up too much. So, in addition to that, let's brighten the screen a little bit. So, in addition to that, they said, well, what was KK's role? And Brendan Paul testifies that her role was chief of staff, that she helped out with the family. So the prosecution says, well, did KK use Mr. Combs' phone? And then, he says, yes, she does use. I think that that's a brilliant question. I think that line of questioning is a win for the defense. It's a win for the defense. When you want to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Sean P. Diddy Combs himself did not XYZ, you continue to keep on saying that it was KK. You continue to keep on saying that it was Cassie. You continue to keep on saying that KK made the calls, that KK had the brown bag of money. KK came and paid off the security at the Intercontinental Hotel. KK was calling and saying, do this, do that. KK was putting band-aids on people and taking people to plastic surgery. KK was the one making sure that everybody got paid if they brought in rugs. Continue to say that because that's proven beyond reasonable doubt that even though Sean P. Diddy Combs runs a large operation as far as business goes, he does not participate in anything negative, and that KK that he hired was a whole K problem. Okay, and that's probably the direction that the defense could go in. It would be brilliant for their 2 day direct examination and presenting of what they're going to present, right? So, which they look like they probably will get to about Monday, right? Maybe we'll see. The cross may they probably will cross on Monday because it's getting late. So yeah, they might start the cross on Monday, going into Monday, and then probably by the afternoon, the defense will be ready to show up and show out. Okay, so the prosecution says, how many assistants did Mr. Combs have? Right. So Brendan Paul says, hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. I did tell that girl to turn it up, right? Oh man. Okay. All right. All right. I had to do a little additional. I may have to call on uncle and auntie to entertain that child on FaceTime for a minute. Okay, so and the prosecution asked how many assistants did Mr. Combs have? And then Brendan Paul says at first 5 and then 4. This line of answering, I have a name for Brendan Paul. I can't wait to share this with you guys. I don't know why she's considered a coach. Why she's not considered a co-conspirator. I think that she very much is, and I think that what it's going to take to unfold about her activities, she's going to have her own trial, sitting in her own hot seat, doing her own problems, and getting her whole guilty, like Ghislaine Maxwell, because this girl KK, she definitely has a lot of this activity going on, and it may have been intentional. Okay, it's just like she seems to be going out of her way. If this is my opinion, insert. She seems to be going out of her way to make sure that things that are happening around him are negative and not, very sinful in nature. There we go. Clean that right on up. Coach D. Everybody say, clean that up, Coach D Shields. Put that in the chat. Clean that up, Coach D Shields. The way I cleaned that up, that was a clean read. I can't even believe y'all didn't catch that. That was nice. Done very nicely, ma'am. I have to praise myself because y'all refused to do it. Okay, so how many assistants, Brendan Paul then goes, First, she had five, then four, then two. And then he said, he adds this, given my college basketball background, I helped with Mr. Combs' workout. Boy, nothing about the way that you looking in that suit when you walked into court today, Brenda Paulson, shows me, it's not giving Alex Fine, personal trainer of Sean P. Diddy Combs, that's Cassie went and laid with, and kept and now making babies with. It's not giving that. But if, okay, you were working, you must have been working out with Sean P. Diddy Combs during the, fluffy time frame. The fluffy puffy. That's what he was doing, the fluffy puffy, where the workouts weren't working. Okay. So but he decided to add that into his testimony. That's on Brendan Paul because he just made me build a picture. That's on him. So the prosecution said, um, they ask him who is this, and they're looking at a binder. So you see this constant part, pointing into the binder, kind of landing in the transcript, right? So they say, who is this? And then he points to a picture. And then Brendan Paul says, that's Jonathan Perez. And then the prosecution asks, well, who is this? And then Paul says, the butler, Frank Rodriguez. Later on, the prosecution saying, well, what did Combs' butler do? What was the purpose of, Alfred to Batman? What are you talking about? That what kind of question is that? Did what Alfred did, and we seen Alfred do a whole lot for Batman. Okay, but yeah, they have to ask the question. So they said, well, what did Mr. Combs' butler do? What was Mr. Butler's job? So Brendan Paul says that he's, here's my quote. He said he stood next to Puff, and end quote. Okay, so I have to make sure I say that. And then also he said he gave him water, he gave him chapstick, and whatever Mr. Combs needed, right? So then the prosecution goes on to say, paraphrasing, happening it as I give you this guys this, a lot of this. Okay, so prosecution says, did you have group chats with KK? Okay, so y'all on Zoom, y'all on Teams, y'all been hanging out on Teams and FaceTiming together in big groups. I don't know. So Paul says, yes, we did, right? And then the prosecution says, okay, turn the binder and flip over here, go through it, and then they're looking through the binder again. And the prosecution asking, well, did you recognize this person right here? And it's a tuxedo with a photo shown, right? So Brendan Paul goes, oh yeah, that's Sean Combs. I work for him. Brendan is a character. They are going to give Brendan Paul a whole movie. Like, he's not even going to get to be in the Diddy trial movie. Like, when Diddy does his movie, Brendan, it's going to be something separate. Brendan is about to get a whole movie there all by himself. He already know it. He can hear George Clooney and Mark Wahlberg fighting over who going to get it first, right? He know himself. He already know it. He can hear George Clooney and Mark Wahlberg fighting over who going to get it first, right? He know Mark Wahlberg coming, right? So he said, Sean Combs, I worked for him until I was arrested at a Florida airport for possession of Coca-Cola. Sean Combs, I worked for him until I was arrested at a Florida airport for possession of Coca-Cola, right? In my personal assistant bag. So then the prosecution said, well, why was it there? So Brendan said, I was sweeping Mr. Combs' room. That's what you're doing, Brendan? That's what you're doing, Brendan? So Brendan says that he was sweeping Diddy's room, and that's when it ended up in his bag. He innocent until proven guilty in his own court. Okay, because from KK trial to the Brendan Paul trial, it's coming. It's coming. The United States is coming. So anyway, Brendan Paul claims during his testimony that he was fired for this. He says that he forgot, and I don't know who told him to. They always do this with Lulu. Lulu always get a shout out. And now, because I have to read this to you, they're going to get another shout out on my platform. I am so tired of Lulu always having a moment, but let me go on and do it anyway. Shout out to 1,833 stop through so far. 3.1 likes and taps. That means y'all are busy in there. 62 sticking around. I appreciate you. So he says this. He says that, he says, I was sweeping the room. He claims that during testimony that he was fired because he forgot a Lululemon. I can't do this. I can't do this. So he says that he forgot a Lululemon fanny pack, right? Yes. Yes. I'm live, ma'am. Hold on a second. I gotta stay busy. Have you guys ever had three children and they're now all adults, and one's a nurse and one's in law enforcement and one's a a dental assistant, and then they all still keep you real busy because they decided to deliver five grandchildren your way, and they live in different states, but they still keep you real busy when you're busy? All right, that's my break for the day. All right. All right. So back to this is the busiest day in the land. So let me get through it. I'm almost done, you guys. So anyway, he says that, he forgot a Lululemon fanny pack. And when he forgot the Lululemon fanny pack, that's when Diddy was headed out on a walk. And Diddy was like, I'm not doing this. So Diddy is like zero tolerance. If your job is to check bags, then check coats, then check coats. So like if he tell you, if you don't know that from you shouldn't even be working around the culture anyway. If he tell you to check coats, check coats. So that's all. Okay. So if you don't know that, you probably should not accept the job with the culture. So you didn't know your job that day. He says that he forgot a Lululemon fanny pack bag, and Diddy was headed out on a walk and says that he said, well, go inside and tell KK that you fired. That's really funny because Sean P. Diddy Combs don't even take the time to fire nobody. Like, he's so busy. He's like, I'm not even going to de-trump you. I'm not going to do that. I'm not even going to hold you're fired. I don't waste my energy on that. What I do is send KK, and KK can fire you. That way you can't come for me later. So KK, you're going to have to answer to firing all these people because it looks like you have to fire them too. So anyway, he says, yeah, he told him to go inside and tell KK to tell you that you're fired. That was funny to me. Y'all don't catch those funny parts of the testimony. Okay, it's only me. All right, nothing funny about what's going on. Sean P. Diddy Combs fighting for the in the trial of his life, trying not to get life, literally. All right, so this is actually from serious moments, but not. Okay, so the petty in the testimony for me is hilarious. With Brendan Paul's testimony, there are many petty parts, and I can hear his petty, and I think it's hilarious. I think he's entertaining. Entertaining as much as he can to save his soul. Okay. So I think it's endless. I hear many petty moments. I hear really inauthentic answers coming with some of his answers on the stand today. He said, I also said, I just don't think that everything that he's saying is the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just see him dramatize it because he wants to get his own Netflix movie. He wants his own movie on Max. Brendan Paul said, I want to have my own movie on Prime. I want all of them to be calling me. I want to make it to the IMAX theater when y'all do my movie. So he's trying to have his moment. It's working for him, right? Prosecution asked him at what point in the testimony, what do you do to stay awake? How do you stay awake during this busy job for Sean P. Diddy Combs? So according to Brendan's testimony today, he says that he does prescription Addy, and sometimes he does Coca-Cola, and that's how he stays awake. So he kept it real. He didn't fumble through it. You know how Elon Musk was fumbling through the question with Don Lemon? He didn't fumble through this. He just kept it straight, no chaser. This is what I do, right? So the prosecution then asked him, wow, like, what was your job, right? So Brendan testifies, well, my job is to keep Sean P. Diddy Combs happy. He also testified that Diddy would tell him for them, the people around him, to act like SEAL Team 6. Stop playing with me, Brendan Paul. You know not to. What are you doing? So anyway, he says that Diddy would say to act like SEAL Team 6. And Brenda Paul also said during testimony, different parts today, that Diddy did not like to take no for an answer. That's something that he decided to insert in his testimony. I'm telling you the way that I feel about Brenda Paul testimony. For me, it's just giving half baked. I'm sorry, like I can't. I'm never gonna because I had that thought in the middle of his testimony today. I don't know why. I just said it out loud to my man, and I was like, "It's giving Dave Chappelle and that dude, the Jim Brewer dude. It's Thurgood and Brian for me. Like I'm just seeing Thurgood and Brian from now on. Anybody else seen Half Baked? Anybody else thinking the same thing? Was I the only one thinking that kind of looking at the shenanigans going back and forth while Brendan Paul was working for Sean P. Diddy Combs? All right, too serious, y'all. Too serious. Okay, that's fine. I saw Half Baked. That's all I'm getting from this testimony, right? So anyway, to continue on, I thought that I would tap back into kind of where I left off with the transcript. Oh, the mother of. Okay, thank you. So that's hilarious. Okay, so that's my daughter. I didn't know my daughter had arrived to pick up her child. She's like, yeah, I heard you on air. And since you talking all that, I left. I told the doctor that I'm going to leave for a minute. I'm going to clock out and go get my child. No, my daughter didn't say that. She didn't say that. She just used it as an excuse. My mom's overwhelmed, so I think I'm going to leave for the day. Girl, you just wanted some time off. Don't put me in it. I'm joking. She is so hilarious. Okay, so anyway, so just different parts of the testimony. I just kind of thought that so for the morning part of the testimony. I don't really want to go into the afternoon part of the testimony. You guys know how I do on here. So what are your thoughts, you guys? So far, Here we go. Question of the day. You know how we always ask the same question. Beyond reasonable doubt, have they proven to you, Rico? Do you, through the testimony of Brendan Paul and the last testimony to be delivered for the prosecution? Remember, the prosecution is wrapping up their entire presentation with Brendan Paul. They are going to go ahead and move over to the cross for defense and then also move into the defense, who says that they only need 2 days to present. Tap that microphone if you want to come up. If you have any thoughts, this would be your time to do so. So the prosecution wants to do their, I mean, they feel that they're going to do what they have to do within 2 days. It possibly could move on to 5 days if I'm sorry, the defense says they are going to present what they have to present within 2 days. The prosecution may turn around and come in and say rebuttal. Hey, no, rebuttal, and then back and forth, could go back and forth, and it could then go to 5 days. So that's why that kind of 2 to 5 days window is up there. But it does look like, before my vacation, my correction, Diddy is the whole team, the prosecution, all them, they're not worried about me and my vacation. It does look like before the 4th of July, they are going to be able to wrap it up. And then I'm pretty sure if they can wrap it up and get the jury into deliberation, the jury might be like the Karen Reed jury. They might get it done in 22, 23 hours. And if so, before the 4th of July, you guys will know the outcome of Sean P. Diddy Combs in the trial of his life, whether or not he will get the lesser charges and do 0 to 10, which is like a time served, up to 10 years possible thing. And if it's a 0 to 10, we already know that he'll probably just, bond out. He'll get a bond and he'll be able to go home and probably have a ankle bracelet possibly, or, kind of answer to, parole. Who knows? So just have some charges on him. Over the years, he's had some serious court things happen, and maybe this time they'll land him with some charges that will kind of lead to the man that will lead a different lifestyle. I don't know. He'll take over TD Jakes Potter's house. I don't know. He just become a whole new man. He'll be the preacher, like in the end of the Five Heartbeats movie. He'll become the preacher. He'll become a preacher. He'll be far away from living the lifestyle that you guys heard about in the court. Then he's gonna become a whole new man. Or he will have to do life in prison if he gets those higher up charges, and the jury comes back with a guilty on that, and then he will end up having to do life in prison. And then he's still gonna be bad boy. He'll get in there and make a movie. He'll get in there and continue to produce new artists. Like, he'll probably find new artists inside of there and start a whole production. Daddy's house studio will move from outside of the jail to inside the jail. Diddy will probably remodel that jail that has been needing remodels for decades, has been needing a remodel. He'll probably take all his additional leftover money. Chrissy says, stop. I'm going too far. The overthink. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking of the things that can happen, right? So he's not going to just take it and just go, oh, my life is over. He'll just take life in prison and just be bad with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not going to fold, because that's what so many people need from him. And then he's not going to fold. That ego can't fold. If that ego could fold, it would have folded decades ago. I'm telling you, he can't fold. When they took Delia, is that the name of the alcohol? When they took that from him, he would have folded, right? He can't fold. When they revoked his that honorary degree that he got, remember, at Howard, he would have folded. He didn't fold. That was before the arrest. When they took revolt, he would have folded. He didn't fold. So I really don't think that this little thing, he'll just rebrand himself, right? He'll just do something different and new with it. That's what I think. So what do you guys think? Beyond reasonable doubt. Do you guys have beyond reasonable doubt with Brendan Paul's morning part of the testimony? And on Monday morning, make sure you come back at the same time, around the same time. We do 45 minutes to an hour. Ooh, good timing today, 51 minutes. So maybe by Monday, we'll go over some of the afternoon testimony, get that digital break in. It's still Juneteenth in these streets. So we're still doing Juneteenth celebration all the way through to Sunday. Shout out to Houston, to Dallas, to Austin, everyone that did everything that they did, to the volunteers and everyone that make these events great for us. Thank you for all those people that do what they do, right? We'll take that digital break. We'll come back on Monday. On Monday morning, we'll start out talking about whatever unfolds over the weekend. It's one of those you never know kind of uh 2025 is like you have no idea what's going to happen next. You will feel like 10 years happen in one weekend most of the time because of so many things that happen all over, right? But we will come back and we'll talk the afternoon of the testimony on Monday morning. I mean on Monday around the same time, 12:45 to 1 p.m. Central. That's how I like to tap in when I come in with the talks. And then we will also there's a reading. I'm going to do a reading later, so if you want to come back, if you're a book lover and you're in that book talk world, book talk and book readers, I am going to be reading from some of my books. I'm going to tap into some of the books that I talked to you about, the books that I write. I will tap in and do that, so stay tuned in, turn on that notification bell so you will know when that happens. On YouTube, if you will continue to follow, I appreciate that. Join my community on YouTube so you can always see the updates and everything that I have going on. All you have to do is just go link in bio, go to my YouTube. I am Dee Shields. I am DeeShields. You can find me wherever you listen to podcasts. What D says to podcast. You can also just I am Dee Shields into any podcast platform. Or if you really like me that like that, let me tell you. Let me tell you who really like me, because you guys don't like me, so I had to find some friends, and most of them are robots. Okay, so what I did was I found some people that do like me. I was like, does anybody like me out there? And this is what happened. So Meta AI is in them streets. Okay. So the Meta AI in them streets telling y'all who I am. So I got this. And I was like, okay, Meta. So Meta was like, Coach Dee Shields is discussing various celebrity topics. That Coach Dee Shields does include topics about Tyler Perry, R. Kelly, Sean P. Diddy Combs, Brendan Paul, and the Diddy trial in her TikTok live recaps. Not a Meta AI knowing who I am. That's like Optimus calling me every day. Okay. But anyway, that's not for everybody. Most people that don't understand me will not get that. Okay, so anyway, but that's really great to know. So if you will go to my YouTube and click on there, the community on my YouTube, I hope that you will connect with me and to continue to talk the topics, because we're not always going to be talking about the bad boy, okay? Because this is going to kind of fade away and we have some other things that we will discuss. Again, all of my prayers, because I am a long time, lifetime, forever time Cowboys fan. So anything that happens to any Cowboys, you know how I feel. And Deion Sanders, we are going to continue to put our prayers out there for Coach Prime. We know he has so many phenomenal things going on. His body just said, look, let's take a little bit of a rest. He's on his kind of 30 days off at the Texas Ranch, recovering from being really, really ill and really, really sick. The friends are showing up to the ranch to see him and to sit by his bedside, Michael Irvin and so many others, and that's kind of keeping him in upbeat spirits. He's given us all kind of reassurance on his digital accounts. So sending all of our prayers out to Deion Sanders, to Coach Prime, Shedeur Sanders. We want you to slow down just a little bit, pay the ticket off, update your license, do all those great things. You're a really amazing model at the pullover. That's exactly how you want to carry yourself when you are pulled over by the LEO. So excellent, excellent modeling of perfect timing indeed. All right. Thank you guys. I agree with the mod. Thank you so much for coming by and for tuning in. I am going to close with a lyrics breakdown kind of thing. I was supposed to close with that. I may not. If you don't want that, say don't do that. You can say don't do that and I will make that a separate live. It's okay. I am trying to catch your comment, mod. I'm sorry. If you could type it again, I will pin it. I'm sorry about that. I told you this platform right here. I'm working with the mouse on there. Yo, I love you guys so much. I appreciate. I forgot to tell you guys, if you like my rings and want my rings, if you see me at one of the little festival tables or whatever, you have 50 cents. I know you have 50 cents because you be like wearing Gucci. Sometimes I see y'all in like Lululemon. You have 50 cents. So the rings are 50 cents each. My children want them to be $1 each, but they're too fun to make. And I can make you a dozen in an hour's time of downtime, right? So no, just 50 cents each. So if you want a ring, let me know. You know how to find me. And if you are trying to book me for anything, you know how to find me. DM on Instagram. That's the fastest way to get me to see your message. Okay. I don't think I have anything else for you guys at this time, but thank you so much for coming by. 2.8 thousand people showed up. 81 or so stuck around in the room. Everyone else that sticks around is downtime. And I just wanted to go over Lizzie. She said, she's done so much fun stuff, right? So I love that little win whammy. that one is really cool. But I was just looking at the lyrics. I had to pull them back up. Let me go back to Apple Music. I can't play them, you guys. So can't play lyrics. Sorry about that. I can't play. I can't play any lyrics. But what I can do is say the part. Say the one that I'm talking about. I can say it to you. All right. I can't play it. ah! Ah! Sorry. I am not allowed to play it. All right, so I'm not allowed to play it because you know how they have all the copyrights or whatever on here. But I just want to do a little lyrics breakdown for you guys. So can I do a little lyrics breakdown? For those of you who do not tune into my lyrics breakdown podcast, this is just what I do. So we're gonna switch over into that and say something in the chat if you guys want me to see you. And shout out to Lizzo. Lizzo giving anthems all summer long. Now that other anthem, that's for y'all. Y'all like to stay bad out there in them streets, Phil. So for all of y'all with that other anthem that she just released over the last couple of days, that's for y'all that like to keep it way too hot in these hot Texas streets. I'm joking. But anyway, that's probably for that. But I like this particular song. I think I'm hitting the explicit, so I'm gonna have to do some editing as I talk. Okay. All right. So still bad. This is lyrics breakdown. We're talking still bad Lizzo. Okay. So Lizzo goes, I'm about to throw my phone away. Lizzo is tired. Okay. Just from that very first line, she said, I'm tired. I don't know if she's talking about her man. We know she's not amazing relationship, that she keep it real quiet out your face so that y'all can leave her alone so she can enjoy her fiance. But she says, I'm about to throw my phone away. And I think that was just like for 2025. Have all of y'all feeling that? Are we all throwing our phones away? We're about to throw these phones away because we are tired. We are tired in 2025, right? So she said, I'm about to throw my phone away. Then she said, I can't let my girls know that this boy been effing with me all day. He been effing with my day. He acts like he can't be replaced. Okay. So then she goes on to say, well, he gonna hate to see me leave, but love to watch me walk away. Okay. And listen, the new Lizzo body, I mean, Lizzo is a beautiful person, beautiful soul, face card never declines. But I am loving new Lizzo body too. We're on the same journey, Lizzo. So I'm loving it. Okay. So she said he act like he can't be replaced. Okay. Well, he gonna hate to see me leave, but love to watch me walk away. She said he knocked me down. By the way, if you will go to my timeline, I repost that video because I got into the Lizzo IRL. So since I got into the Lizzo IRL, I reposted and I added the Lizzo IRL. So y'all just go under there and tell me still bad. Yes, she's still bad. Y'all go comment underneath my video. I did a little reenactment for this particular song. Okay. So and she said, he knocked me down, thought I'd never get my find A off the ground, but I'm ready now. She said, I'm feeling crazy lately. Baby, let's just go out, okay? She said, I don't need him. I need a rink, okay? So she said, let's turn this pain into some baby. Like the cheers be, it's been a day. And then she says it again, but might take that last flight out to Vegas. What y'all think? It is day one of summer. Y'all going to Vegas? Where are y'all hanging out this summer? You going to the beach? Are you going to Vegas? Are you going overseas? It's limited. There are a lot of restrictions as to where you can go right now. But what are your plans? Are you going to the East Coast? Are even with the restrictions on the travel ban, stop acting like you've been to every state. Do you know what we have going on in the United States of it's just so much, so many places that you could go. I absolutely love the Garden of the Gods in Colorado Springs. I absolutely love hiking Helen Hunt Fall in Colorado Springs. There are the Manitou incline. You want to go and make sure that you're fully fit and fully hydrated and make sure your body is ready to do so. But you could do the Manitou incline. So Colorado is a good place to go. I love visiting California. I love Miami. I love Georgia. I love Texas. That's a beautiful place to go. New Mexico, I haven't really tapped all the way into that. Probably don't go there right now kind of trip. And then you have Virginia, you have North Carolina, South Carolina, so many beautiful places to visit. So if you have the travel ban going, you still have Man, my daughter, they was Ayla, they was stationed there. Ayla is how you say your name. She said, I love Colorado Springs. And listen, the Springs is everything. Like my daughter was stationed there, so I got to spend so much time in Colorado Springs and just being a part of the beauty that is the mountains that way. It's funny, Ayla, when in Colorado Springs, living there for a few, and then Denver, I was always told, how do I know where I'm going? And they said, look, when you can see the mountains, you're going west. That's all you need to know. When you can see the mountains, you're going towards the west. And that's the way I got around a lot, trying to figure out my way around Colorado Springs, right? All right. So, yeah, she said, cheers, B. It's been a day. But look, she said, I might take that last flight out. We're doing Still Bad Lizzo lyrics breakdown. Might take that last flight out to Vegas. What y'all think? She said, I don't need him. I need a, I don't know why life has been so effed up lately. She was talking for 2025. Lizzo is Still Bad lyrics. She is talking about 2025. Life has been so lately, right? She said, but after everything, I'm still surviving. That is your anthem for the year. Do you understand? Lizzo gave you all you need to continue to pull through. She said, after everything, I'm still surviving and I'm still bad, baby. Why I do, okay? She said, so B, I can't complain. I'm still bad through the whole thing. Then she goes into the whole hook again. Plot twist, I'm doing great. I make that look sexy anyway. Again, you guys, I did a recap, a reenactment of the song. So if you will go on my timeline, that should be today's video. If you'll click on there, Still Bad, and say, yes, Dee, yes, Coach Dee Shields, you are still bad. Manitou is a beautiful sight to see. Also, Honey says, I agree. Absolutely agree with Honey on that. Colorado Springs is the trip. You can't go to the country you want to go to right now. Take the trip to Colorado. Absolutely recommend Colorado Springs. So she said, I'm gonna go have brunch with my she didn't say that. She said, I'm gonna break my fast with my bees. And I love how she did that. I'm gonna break my fast because we're on the same journey, sort of. I go ahead and tell you that I'm on the jab. So I'm on the Mojaro journey, right? I'm at 5 milligrams. I started out at 2.5 milligrams. Can't talk about it. I forgot. Algorithm won't let me talk about it. But anyway, yes, I break my fast. I have not broke fast today. It's 2 o'clock. I normally don't. I usually break fast about 3, right? So she says, she says, I break fast with my bees, real love, real life. That's what we've been missing. 2025 has seemed like we are missing so much. Well, you don't have to. The first day of summer, get out there, go be bad, baby. Go out there and still be bad. Make the best of 2025. Make it unforgettable. If you need me to repeat, if you didn't hear about the Americans getting 1,000. Let me talk about, if you missed that and you want me to talk about it again, say that for me in the chat, okay? Um, Feeling crazy lately. Let's go out. And then she says, I don't need him. I need a drink. I'm sorry. Let's turn this pain into some champagne, baby. And then moving on, she said, I'm still surviving. That's the main thing that I want y'all to get from the song. So go play Still Bad, Lizzo. And I want y'all to get that. You are fine. You are still surviving. Your energy is at feeling like trying to tell you that you're not. You are going to be fine. And if you're feeling entirely too low, go talk to your. I can't even say that. I can't even give it to you. Algorithm won't let me give you vitamin D. Just go get some vitamin D. Go out in the sun and enjoy the summer. Okay, get that natural vitamin D. Talk to your doctor about additional if you need something. I can't talk about that. The algorithm won't let me talk about that. All right, so she just said, I'm back in the building, babies. I'm doing what I do. She let, let's turn this pain into something great. Cheers, B. Go have a day. And that's what I want you guys to do. Don't stay inside. Don't over digital. Make sure you take your digital breaks and go have a day. We already have been on this one too long. We went over. We're at 1 hour and 6. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I appreciate you. That's the recommendation song for today. Lizzo, Still Bad. Okay, go listen to the song, play it, let it just fill you up through your workout, through your hangout, through your family time, through your game night, do your date night, whatever today is for you. Go be phenomenal. You're still surviving because you're here watching me. So that guarantees you that tomorrow, if God says the same. Okay. That's all I have for you guys. I'm Coach Dee Shields. YouTube link in bio. I am Dee Shields. Make sure that you follow the host, please. Make sure you follow the host. And I do follow back. within increments, because sometimes so many people follow at a time. I have to slow down. I don't want them to put me in the clink clink, the TikTok clink clink. I don't want to be in the TikTok clink clink. Okay. So, but if you will, if you're following, stay patient. I'm coming. I'm going to connect. I'm going to watch your content. I'm going to engage. I'll stop by your live. Thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you, Maud, for doing what you do. We'll see you guys on Monday, day 28 of the Diddy trial. Unless there's a mistrial, unless he gets a pardon, unless they just decide to shut this thing down and say no more. We had enough. But I think the defense wants their time. 9 attorneys to present what they say. This is not, nothing you've seen is the truth. And we are going to tell you exactly what is going on, and they have 2 days that they think that they need to tell us. We shall see how that goes. If it didn't get into a little bit of it this afternoon, but I'm pretty sure next week will be that shining week for that. Thanks everyone, and I'm out.